Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Coachinginsession. My name is Michael Reardon, and I'll be your life coach this evening. So, today we're going to be doing something different with Wednesdays. So, Wednesdays, what I was doing, I was talking about books and what books you should be reading. All right, so I was really emphasizing on books that can change your life, right? Can benefit you for any type of growth. And though that is a great idea, and I do enjoy it, I wanted to challenge myself and do something extra for my business. So I wanted to start to get into creating more workshops. And I do a lot of individual work, some group counseling, marriage counseling, stuff like that, where I'm working with small groups, but not in a capacity where I'm working with 50 to 100 people on a given session. So we're going to be getting more into that, or the company and myself is going to be getting more into that type of coaching. And the best way I have found to gather that content and to be able to share that content with everyone is to create workshops and then to air it on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook for everyone to see, right? The purpose of myself and my company is not to charge people an arm and a leg to get the coaching and the care they need. And it's very similar to the healthcare system, where if you're living in a place like Canada or Chile, if you got a problem, you go there to the hospital, everything's taken care of, college is taken care of. But here in America, it's a little bit different. You need to have insurance, and then even then you have a heavy copay. And that heavy copay doesn't need to happen. And I'm not going to get into the copay with medical, but in the sense of you getting better in your life, for you to start to make better choices for yourself and for your family. That shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. It shouldn't feel like you're sacrificing something in order to gain something. And of course, having some skin in the game is essential in order for your growth. It doesn't have to be the end all be all in order to get some type of help. I have done coaching for people who didn't even know where their rent was coming the next month, but we made it work. I have done coaching for people who had it all, but weren't willing to put in the work. So it's more so of a mindset thing than anything, because if there's a will, there's a way. And the purpose of this podcast is to create a will and to create an understanding of what we have inside of us, because people forget just how powerful they are. We are given this idea, especially in the Western society, where we are owed our freedom, we are owed our entitlement, but at the same time, it can be taken away at the moment's notice, and we huff and puff and we say it's unfair. Well, life was never fair in the beginning, but to give away your freedoms, your given rights, to me, that's crazy. However, people do it without even batting an eye. And we're going to get into that today, because today's workshop, today's topic is going to be about getting back to better. And I almost feel like I'm being political in a sense, where I'm taking a term politicians or a certain organization of the government is using to push an agenda. They said, let's get back to normal in 2020. Let's shut down for 2 weeks and we can get back to normal. Let's shut down for a month and flatten the curve, and let's get back to normal. And then 3 months, and then Look at what happened. A year and a half later, where is normal? Nowhere in sight. It's always over the horizon, but it's nowhere in sight. We were given false promises and we were given false hope to the point where now people have given up. They say, I'm going to do what's best for me and my family, and whatever happens, happens. That's a way to think about it. At the end of the day, you're going to have to focus on your life and what you need to do. But there's something else. To get back to normal, where'd the normal go? Just because you have to wear a face mask or you have to get a COVID vaccine, or it's not a COVID vaccine, it's a COVID shot, and all the boosters associated with that COVID shot, is that normal? Is that the new normal, right? Where now, I have to wear my face mask before I go into the grocery store. I have to wear my face mask when I go into a school or the doctor's office. Is that the new normal? Are we going to allow that to continue to be the new normal? And I understand that certain countries do that, like China. Their people will wear face masks and things like that. I'm not talking about China. I'm talking about America, here in the West. And no matter how much data, articles, scientists I have come on and explain to you about vaccines or about masks, you're still going to hold your own opinion on it. Even if I had Dr. Fauci himself come on and tell the people, the community, that you don't need to wear a mask, you're safe if you got the vaccine. Not, if you got the vaccine, it'll probably be a good idea to still wear a mask, right? If he goes against his word, you're still going to do what you believe is right. It's similar to how Americans operate when carrying firearms. The likelihood of them needing to use a firearm is very low. But we have thousands, if not millions, of Americans carrying firearms for their protection. And rightfully so. People need to feel safe. People need to feel protected. And that's what the vaccine did. That's what the masks do. That's what a firearm on your hip does. It offers a sense of protection. But is that sense of protection false? It might be. If you put a pistol on your hip and you don't know how to use it, is that a false sense of protection? Yes. Because in the case of you needing to use it, you won't be adequately skilled to defend yourself. How about with the COVID vaccine shot? Or the vaccine's not a vaccine, COVID shot. Okay, I get the shot and it's supposed to protect me, but it doesn't. Especially with all the different variants coming out, I need to do my due diligence to make sure I'm protected, that I'm safe and my family is safe. And I should wear a mask because masks have been proven to stop the spread of viruses and germs. Okay, if that is your belief. And you're going to continue to believe what you're going to believe. And people shouldn't have to change your opinion because it's not their opinion to be changed. And that's the world we're living in. We live in a society where people want you to recite their opinion and to forego your opinion. So whether you're pro-gun, anti-gun, pro-vax, anti-vax, it doesn't matter. Because the agenda from the other person is going to be pushed on you to a certain extent. And for me, I believe a person should do whatever they need to do in order to feel safe. They should feel like their life is not threatened. And in a sense, people are not understanding that their life is not threatened by if a person has a firearm on the hip, if someone is unvaccinated or vaccinated, their life is not threatened. Because human nature is still there. That hasn't gone away. But what trumps human nature is fear. And when you implement fear into people, things start to change. People start to operate differently. We're not as kind as we are anymore. We're not as patient as we used to be. Because now we have an opinion that needs to be met. We have something in our mind that needs to be addressed. And when we were talking about getting back to normal and flattening the curve and all that, I was all for it. I'm like, sure, we have to flatten the curve and we have to get rid of this virus before it can spread. Makes sense. And I was actually hired to track the virus and how it was moving. So I monitored for about 2 weeks. And I noticed something very interesting about the trend. How many numbers it went up every day. The areas, the hot spots. It was all too similar to be a coincidence. Because COVID didn't happen when the lockdowns happened. It happened before that. And I know people who were sick with this virus before even 2020. So if that's the case, and the virus was already here, what was the point of having a lockdown? We could talk about that. But it's going to detract from today's episode, is getting back to better. And their whole agenda was getting back to normal, get back to normal, get back to normal. But normal has been long since gone. Livelihoods have been lost, businesses have closed down, people lost. Normal's far from gone. So we can't get back to normal. And I don't want to just get back to okay. I want to get back to better. I want to get back to a place where people are not afraid to go out and experience the world, their life, where people are excited for what's around the corner. There's not as much uncertainty in the past, and now everyone's so uncertain about tomorrow. Is the housing market going to collapse? Is the economy going to crash? Is the American dollar going to be useless? We have a lot of worries. And there's no problem with being worried or to be cautious. However, we need to understand something, and that is we need to focus more so on our future. Focus on the things that we can address. Focus on the areas that are going to bring us prosperity and abundance. And that's where people are struggling. And today's workshop is going to be addressing that. We're going to be figuring out how to get back to better and get away from the idea of simply getting back to normal, getting back to just okay, and accepting what was given to us. Because at some point, we need to acknowledge that what we get is not necessarily what we always want or what we need. So we need to focus on what we want and what we need, and then do the work in order to get that. So without further ado, let's get back to better. So to get back to better is our first workshop. Getting back to better could be the key of happiness. It could be the idea the wave that brings us to our most desired place in life. But we're not so much interested with getting to better because we're more so interested in figuring out how to survive. And our purpose should not be simply what we can do to make it till tomorrow, but what we can do to get to the best life in the near future. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Michael Reardon, and I have a long history of things I've done in my life. So in the end, I did graduate with my master's in education. I was a teacher for several years, upward into the 10-year mark. I've been a coach many years, not just life coaching, but fitness coaching, swim coaching, you name it, I was coaching it. There's something about coaching that I always enjoyed, where I saw someone come in or begin or start as a novice, as a beginner. And it was my job and my duty to help that person evolve, help that person become better. And that was very interesting for me. And I studied the mind, habits of people. And from there, I was able to understand how to push people properly where they were successful and not fearful of doing the work. And Reven Concepts is a company that helps people push past their limiting beliefs, helps people push past all the negativity in the world or all the people that didn't believe in them. And if there was one person in the world you can go to that can rekindle your belief, it would be me. It would be this company. Because this company doesn't put anyone in a box saying that they can or can't do something. That's up to you. And we look at the quote of Henry Ford, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are correct. So in 2018, I started the company with the mission to help people get past all of the doubts and fears they have in their mind, to help people start to live more abundantly and to decide a future that would be most desirable for them and their family in the future, right? To create generational wealth and to get rid of all the negative stigmas that may be or have occurred in their life. And what I have found over the years of having the company is that not everyone is willing to get that life. So I ask, are you willing to get the life that you wish you had? Are you willing to get the life that you dream about that seems like it's a far off fantasy, just out of reach? Because if you dream it, you can believe it, but there needs to be some type of plan involved when you get it. But there's some problems that we have to take care of before we can begin our journey. We have to understand something about ourselves. We have to understand that we're simply not going to get a great life because we wish we had a great life. There has to be some type of work involved. There has to be some type of will to get there. So working on our motivation and our directive in our day-to-day life are going to help us solve all the problems we have. Because the obstacles we have in our life are typically not because of other people, they're because of us. There is something we have done or allowed that has caused our problems to manifest, to become stronger, to become more prominent. And we want to get out of those problems. We want to start to find solutions. And the best way to find solutions is to address the problem. And the goal should be something worthwhile. It should be your dream life. It should be exactly what you want for yourself. If you had one wish, what would it be? And if you got there, what type of resources did you have around you? Because if you're being political about it and you say, my wish is world peace. Okay. Well, guess what? If you have enough money, you can probably buy world peace. And if you can't buy global world peace, you can definitely buy peace around you, peace around your world, where you don't have to worry about bills. You don't have to worry about paying a mortgage. You simply are able to be free and live life. You can travel where you want to travel. You can buy all the clothes or all the accessories that you may feel like you need. You can have a career where you feel happy because you're in it because you want to be in it, rather than needing to be in it to pay your bills. How many people do you think are in a career simply to pay their bills? Too many. So we want to find the objective. We want to have a goal that we can work towards and say, this is what I want for myself. And if I can get to that goal, then my life will be substantially greater, substantially better. So in the beginning of our video, I was talking about the quarantine and COVID-19 in general. And it definitely has thrown people for a loop. It has definitely showed people that life is not necessarily fair. People have lost everything because of this pandemic, because of the lockdowns and the quarantine, their whole livelihoods. And there's a narrative behind the beginning, the middle, and even currently, because we're still not at the end. Let's get back to normal. Let's flatten the curve. Do your part, etc. But the same people who are pushing for lockdowns and the same people who were saying wear the masks are almost hypocrites in a sense, because they did it, but only for TV. They did it when the camera was pointed on them. So we don't know everything about what's really going on in the world. But what we can tell from this photo here is we have someone who is saying, hey, let's run back to normal. Let's keep running back to normal. And they're riding the phase of the virus, and they don't have a mask on, and the person running is tired. You can see they're frazzled, but they have a mask on. And different shots they had to take, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots. When does it end? Because getting back to normal doesn't seem like something I want anymore. And for the people who believe that getting back to normal is going to solve everything, you're sadly mistaken. Because this agenda that they're doing is just a facade to keep you going, to keep you moving, to keep you distracted. And I'm telling you to turn around and look at the other side. And it says, get back to better, not back to normal. And it's not about how far you've come. It's about how much you have to go. And in this sense, we're going to break that rule. Because in the picture, the path is winding. And the person on the chariot, the COVID chariot, is very comfortable and smiling. So we're going to no longer show them our back. We're no longer going to show them our weak side. We're going to face them, face to face, toe to toe. And we're going to challenge the regime and the agenda, so we can get the life we deserve. So what I do as a mindset coach is I help people with their mind. I help people with the way they think, with the way their thoughts affect their life, from their habits and their choices. And oftentimes people don't understand where their mindset is taking them. They simply go through life and they say, okay, I have to wake up and I have to go to work. After work, I come home and I eat maybe fast food because I'm tired and I don't want to make a home cooked meal. And now I'm out of shape. And it's a cycle. Monday through Friday seems so close together, and the weekend seems so fast. And then when you're 65, you say life flies. Time goes by so quickly. And the reason why is because our mindset wasn't focused so much on time itself. It was focused on a pattern. And that pattern happens very quickly. Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, until the end of your life. What happens in between Friday and Saturday? What happens on the weekend? We have to make sure we understand that so we can push to better, push our mindset. So there are several trends when it comes to having a mindset. One of the trends, and this is the most common trend, especially in the Western society, is we have a negative mindset trend where we believe we can't do something, where everything is more challenging than it needs to be. People are confused about how to do things, where to start, or they're just uncertain if they can accomplish all the things that they want to accomplish in their life. So they say, you know what, instead of me trying, I'm just going to stay where I am. Because where I am is okay. I mean, I'm not exactly happy, but I'm not exactly sad. I'm not exactly so bad off where other people are, suffering more than me, so I must be doing something good. And one of the worst things you can think about when trying to achieve a better life is comparing yourself to someone else. Because their challenges do not reflect who you could become. Your challenges reflect who you can become. So the way of thinking and being negative doesn't necessarily benefit anyone. Unless you have a boss and the boss is making all this money off of you, So you work for maybe $15 an hour and your boss is making $250 an hour. And you just have to be there, putting in the hours, being a good worker. You get your 2 weeks off, your health care, and your boss is going to buy a new car every year, fly private every year, go on vacation every month while you're breaking your back. And that is not what you should be striving for. You should be striving for a life where you're in a role of leadership, where you're in the role of developing a better life for you and those around you by creating a lifestyle that is going to create abundance. And that's going to get into our second mindset. And that is going to be our positive type of mindset where we believe we can. There's a journey ahead of us, but we can complete that journey. And simply understanding that we can complete that journey is good enough and a strong enough belief for people to go after success. But not many people are told that they can be successful. Not many people are told that they can do it and that they have some type of worth more than they are right now. One of the reasons I left teaching was because not every teacher, there were some wonderful teachers out there, but there were teachers who would tell students how they wouldn't surmount to anything, how they wouldn't be successful and they'll fail in life. And that's something harsh, right? But kids learn from it and they use that negative energy and then they start bullying. And it's a trend. It's not so much because they look different or they act different. It's because they've been fed a belief in negativity and hopelessness, and they want to bring everyone down to their level. And what I do as a mindset coach, as a teacher, as a person, is to help people understand that they're worth more than someone's words and someone's beliefs. They can accomplish anything in their life. And to not allow anyone to limit them, similar to how our government limit us in the quarantine and the lockdowns, and they said don't leave your house, and sure enough, and they say only leave your house if you're an essential worker. Okay, that's another blow. That means you're not essential. You don't matter. It's a mindset game. But if we get someone, a mentor, a life coach, to help show us where we have been messing up, where we have been falling short of reaching our goals, that right there is going to be key to our happiness, key to our development and to our success. Now, do you need a life coach? No. You can get there by yourself. But if you're the type of person who says you're going to do something and you don't do it, you created a habit of you being able to not follow your directive. And if we remember the slides talking about the problems that needed to be solved, directive was number 2. So let's look at the trend analysis of men and women. And it might seem that, we're going through the same problems, the same issues. But that's not true. Men have different problems than women. Women have different problems than men. And I have coached both. I've coached both men and women toward the attainment of pushing themselves to becoming better. And what I have found is that depending on their age, either of the sexes is going to be either more prone to pushing themselves or more prone to giving up. So the feminine nature of woman, and if there is a feminine man that is more so unwilling to push themselves because they're tired or they're becoming complacent or they want something else in their life, they're not going to push for success the same way. Now, when we look at a masculine man, a masculine male, we're going to notice that he's going to be pushing himself a lot more than his female counterpart. And I was thinking about that. Why is that so? Why are men more willing to push than women? But it's not the same in high school, because in high school, women are actually more willing to push than men. And that's why women dominate the educational fields, right? Why more women are in college. It's because they're willing to put in the work. But then something happens when they start their career and they're getting up in their age, and that age of 26 to 28 sneaks in and they go, wow, I need to have a kid. Oh, I need to get married. And they're willing to give up all the success and all the work they put forth in order to start a family. But to find the man that is wanting to be successful and driven and push, that's a challenge in itself. So the trend analysis of mindset in men and women are that later in life, men are going to be more prone to wanting to push for success and greater heights. And that comes to the human evolution of being able to protect and provide. Men have an innate urge to protect and provide. So when he finds a woman or a mate, he wants to make sure he's able to provide for them. He wants to make sure his money is right. Everyone is safe and everyone is secure. It does change. And the whole modern woman movement is sort of kind of changing some women, but not enough to say that the majority of women would not give up a lush lifestyle if a man is going to provide for them. Not enough. So, yeah, it's cool to be a modern woman from 18 to 26, but something happens around that age, and that's going to be the human evolution, genetics. Our mind can go against what we were bred and born for, but for only so long. So who do I help? What is the purpose, right? There has to be some type of purpose and some type of goal when we're trying to get a better life. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. What matters the most is that you're willing to put in the work. You're willing to be motivated, stay motivated, to continue the directive, to not allow complacency to take over, and to finish. Not start, but to finish. Because starting is easy. How many people start going to the gym on New Year's? A lot. But how many people finish that? Not enough. So when we look at the ratio of starting and finishing, we see a lot of people fall off and quit before they're even done. And so who I help are people who want to finish. And if you can honestly say, I want to finish, I want to complete my goals and I want to fulfill my dreams. If you're a person who can say that with the utmost certainty, then you're going to be someone that I'm going to be willing to work with. Now, if you're the type of person where you're unsure and you're flaky and you constantly neglect to reach deadlines and have the work I schedule you to have complete unfinished on a constant and frequent basis, the relationship wouldn't last long. And it's not so much that I can't help you. It's that I don't want to take your money and you feel that I'm cheating you. My character, my moral code is not to take money from people and give them nothing. If I'm compensated for a service, I'm going to make sure that service is 100% there. But a lot of it comes to who I'm working with. Because if someone is not going to be focused and driven to get the life that they want, reach their goals, there's only so much I can do. So if you're one of those people who are finally fed up with the life they are living and they want more, it's time to reach out. And it's time to hire someone to help get you to where you need to be. And so what I'm doing for those people right now, and I'm not sure when I'm going to end this, is that I'm going to be offering my coaching packages at a discounted rate, 40 plus %. And this is an opportunity I don't want anyone to miss. I want you to take this opportunity and I want you to run with it. I want you to understand that in the future, these prices won't be there. The opportunity will still be there. But don't wait until something is so far gone where you're saying, I should have did this earlier. And the best way I like to explain this is, would you like to have bought Amazon, an Amazon stock, or an Apple stock, or a Tesla stock when it was a couple of dollars? Most people will say yes. Because the amount you would have created after those few dollars were spent, would be tremendous. Probably wouldn't have to worry about money anymore. And the same is true for this coaching package, for these coaching packages. To choose a package that's going to fulfill your needs and then to go after what you need to go after. And if you're interested in signing up for that said session now, head over to revenconcepts.com/membership. And you will definitely be able to see the discounted rate currently. And the only thing you have to do is schedule a session or contact me via revenconcepts.com. So the process is pretty simple, actually. The first thing we do is we look at your life as a whole. We say, all right, how's your life going? Is it going the way it needs to go? Is it a mess? Is it in a nosedive and we're about to crash? We need to figure that out. The next process is to get down to the foundation, your core, your being, your character, your soul, your mindset. And to fill in any holes that don't need to be there. To fill any gaps in your learning or in your way of thinking that won't benefit you. That's the goal. Because we're going to get to the point where we get to construct our empire. And we're going to go step by step in order to build that. And what happens is we create a plan, and we talk about the plan, and we talk about the progress as we go. We understand your habits better, the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to others, how you operate, how you use your time in any given moment, every day. Do you procrastinate? And we figure out what needs to be reset, what needs to be changed, what needs to be altered, because not everything you're doing right now is going to be benefiting you. Because if you do not have the life that you want right now, that means you're doing things that are counteracting that said life. So we want to get around that. So we want to focus more so on what needs to happen and what should be happen. And then to develop a lifestyle that you can look forward to, whether that be family, whether that be owning a huge house or an abundance of cars, going on vacation to all these wonderful places and exotic places, first class, private jets, whatever type of lifestyle you want, vision that type of lifestyle. And where you are today is going to be the journey where you're starting to understand, okay, this is where I need to be. But there's a road in front of us. And on that road is only going to be our motivation, our inspiration, and our passion for getting to the end. There's not going to be a sign saying, well, let's get back to normal. Let's get back to better. It's going to say, what lies at the end of this road is going to be greater and better than what you have right now. And after a year, you're going to be at the point where you actually have accomplished all or almost all of your goals. But right there, that's where I call it the halfway point. Because what I want for you is not good enough. I want the best for you. I want the top. There's no reason why you can't be in the top 1% of earners in the world. That simply means you have to put in another year of work, another years or more years of coaching in order to make sure you get there. Because what happens at the halfway point is we say, you know what, I climbed this mountain peak, I climbed this hill, I accomplished something very good, and my life is better for it. But I'm not going to go any further. And that's called complacency. And if you become complacent, eventually your lifestyle is going to catch up to that complacency. And then you're going to be in the same predicament that you are right now. And what I find with people is that people get into a rat race that happens on a routine basis. I just finished working with a young lady who had a rat race of 3 years. Every 3 years, her rat race would restart, regardless of all the work she have done, promotions, work she has done. She has done great things. But the rat race begins again after 3 years. And then complacency begins after the rat race resets. Where's the growth? Where will she be in 10 years and 30 years? It's important to understand that, because the goal is simply not to give us a life that we're okay with, but a life that we can be proud of, a life that's going to sustain us in generations past us, to create a legacy that's going to point to our efforts and our name. So here are some resources for you to look into and to digest. Heading over to my concept, to my website, revenconcepts.com. You can book a session. You can check my calendar. You can read some blogs, watch motivational videos. Everything is there for your success. And if you're at the point where you don't have the means to hire a life coach, I strongly recommend heading over to the website, revenconcepts.com, and to read the blogs, to watch the videos, to learn as much as you can, become a sponge, to start to question your current lifestyle, to question your current mindset. Because if you do not have the life that you want and you're not moving toward the life that you desire, something needs to be changed. Something needs to be altered so you can say, all right, I want to focus more so on what I need in my life. And I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share all the videos. You might have a friend, a family member who might be in a low spot right now, and they don't have to stay there. There's ways for you to get them out of that, because people should be living in abundance, not in scarcity, not in fear. And my Instagram page is a wonderful page for people to go to and get a sense of motivation and inspiration to help them push past more than they need to be. LinkedIn. Therefore, if you wanted to work with me, if you wanted to get on one of the episodes and to do an interview with me, LinkedIn would be the best way to contact me. And then Twitter and Discord is extra if you were trying to get into community and to see what day-to-day life is with me. So all in all, when we take a look at this workshop and we take a look at what we're allowed to have in our life, we notice something. We notice that getting back to better sounds good, but how much work is that going to involve? And it's going to involve quite a bit of work. It's going to involve you to push past into sacrifice in some areas, but when you sacrifice in the areas that do not benefit you in the long run, it is a sacrifice that you're going to be happy you made. And if you're on the edge of, should I hire a coach? Should I go on this alone? Just ask yourself this one question. How much time do you have to get to your destination? Because if you needed to get to the airport before your flight left, you're going to take a taxi cab. You're going to get there a lot quicker. But if you had a day or two to get to the airport and you didn't have money to get a taxi, you say, I'm going to walk to the airport. So you spend a day or two walking to the airport and you get there on time. But was it worth it? Was it worth taking that long journey, that long hike to get there? In life, there is an easy road and there is a road that's going to be more challenging. And when you have resources to make your life easier, I always recommend to utilize those resources, because it's going to allow you to do more than just what you needed to do initially. Because after the 2 days of walking, you're tired. Versus I took a taxi and I'm ready. Because when I land, full sprint to wherever I want to be, to wherever I want to go. Versus I'm going to take some time to rest. And then you miss all that travel time, all that vacation time. And I want you to enjoy life more so than you have to work. And the best way to get there is to do the work now and then to enjoy life later. I'm going to leave you with this saying, and then I'm going to close out the stream. And that saying is, if you have a hard life now, you have an easy life later. But if you have an easy life now, you'll have a hard one later. And I always tell people to choose the challenging part right now, when you're young and when you're energetic. So later, you can sit back and relax, drink pina coladas on the beach, wherever you want to do, whatever you want to do. You can do that, but you set it up in a way where you can do that, not the other way around. If you have any questions, you can email me, coachinginsession@gmail.com. Again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Share with your friends, family members, and whoever you think may like or could utilize these types of videos, personal development. And to stay tuned for Friday for another episode of Coaching in Session. So until then, take care. I will see you soon.